Poker, the ultimate challenge of skill, patience and deceit, where the smallest facial tick could leave you exposed and fortunes are decided on the turn of a card. It's a game that used to live in the dark, hotel rooms and poker shacks on a Friday night, but now it's everywhere. Today there are over 100 million online poker players alone. It's played in bed, aboard cruise liners, even on the, well, you get the picture. But for serious poker players, nothing beats the pull of the big glitzy tournaments. And big glitzy tournaments don't come much bigger than Goliath. Goliath is the largest poker tournament outside Vegas. Every year, thousands of players take a swing at a prize pot worth nearly £1 million. Which got us thinking, could we find a mythical David to take on Goliath? An outsider, a complete poker novice, ready for the challenge of a lifetime. Well, there is a David that's just got a bit of time on his hands. And he's beaten one Goliath already. David Haye was one of the most explosive British fighters to step inside the ring. Behind his trademark haymaker, he became only the second man to unify the cruiserweight division and go on to become the heavyweight champion. But his biggest triumph, quite literally, was against the giant Russian Nikolai Valuev. Billed as David versus Goliath, David outwitted his colossal foe to become heavyweight champion of the world. After 16 years of being a professional boxer, David decides to hang up his gloves. A natural competitor, he was looking for a new challenge, so we got in sharpish and asked David to be our David and take on Goliath.
Once the world realised I'd retired from boxing, I've had all kinds of crazy options thrown my way. But I like the poker. I like the option from poker because I know my father plays poker for starters. He plays probably once or twice a week. Not knowing how to play poker right now and believing I can do something in this tournament, everyone will say you got zero chance. But I'm like, okay, bring it on. It's a challenge. I mean, I'm not going to get my head punched in, so how bad can it get?
And so David has accepted our challenge. Do your stuff, marketing team.
He has ruled the world before. He thinks nothing of sacrifice, of fear. Over 12 months, the Haymaker will once again prepare for battle, only this time in Europe's most brutal poker tournament. The Haymaker's back, and he's looking to slay more giants. Can David take down Goliath?
August 2018, and it's time for David's big reveal.
I don't say I'm going to do something unless I've thought about it. I don't want to sit here in 1 year's time. I could have spent more time focusing and I could have given myself a better opportunity. Because if it all goes pear-shaped, I'll be like, I know what I'm like. I don't like to lose. And if I am going to lose, I'm going to lose guns blazing, knowing that I've given it everything.
Please give a massive welcome for the legendary Haymaker, Mr. David Haye. David, lovely to see you. The Haymaker here is going to be taking up and mastering poker and playing against you here in this room next year at Goliath 19.
Grosvenor presented me with this opportunity, and here I am to learn the game of poker, known to learn it by the best, and to give myself the best opportunity this time next year to kick all you guys' asses.
He will be coached and mentored by the three pros that I've got here, Katie, Jeff and Joe. It's David Haye!
David leaves the press conference feeling pretty confident, and the coaches we've picked to train him like what they see.
I'm surprised how determined he is. Like, speaking off camera, David is kind of saying, right, tomorrow we're going to start learning this. Tomorrow, let's show me what I need to watch online, show me how I become a good player. He doesn't want to be embarrassed, does he? That's the thing.
He's very relaxed as well. Like, when we're looking at him, part of your poker play is to, read body language and make sure you're not giving off any tells. And he's so relaxed when he's talking to people. There's a lot of what we're going to teach him that's come naturally to him.
From what I've seen so far, I'm more excited than I was an hour before the press conference. And the reason I'm excited is because I think he's going to be really easy to teach.
And so the challenge begins. In 12 months' time, David will be taking on Goliath, and he'll only be happy with a KO win. Kapow! Day 1. David's poker odyssey starts here. He's off to his first lesson.
Hello. How are you? Good, thanks. Good.
Hopefully, it'll go better than the last time he was in formal education.
Literally first day of school, I'm really looking forward to it. I was a terrible student. I just wanted to disrupt the classroom, get sent out, sent to the head teacher all the time. But I've grown up a little bit now, so at least I haven't used up all of my schooling energy.
His coaches, Jeff, Katie and Joe, are poker experts with combined winnings of more than £3 million. It's up to them to funnel their poker knowledge into David, and fast.
We're going to kind of get straight into it, that's right. We're obviously going to make you into a really good poker player, but it's how we're going to do that. We're going to have boot camps, which you learn theory, you learn rules, you learn tactics. We talk amongst ourselves, we might go through some videos. Yep. Then we're going to have tournaments that are specially designed to help you learn.
OK.
It's very much a one-person game.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
When you're sat there playing at a table, if you don't know what to do, you can't get up, call your mate over from the bar and say, I've got 2 aces, what am I going to do?
OK.
Right, you're going to play tournaments where you're going to be on your own. Yeah. We're going to teach you some rules. OK. OK, because every game has a set of rules. So you know what a deck of cards looks like?
I do.
OK, 4 suits.
Yep.
Hearts, clubs, diamonds and spades. OK? In poker, all the suits are the same.
What about jokers? Any jokers?
No jokers. No jokers. We play with 52 cards. Each suit goes from the ace to the king. The suits have no superiority in value. Every poker hand is made up of the best 5 cards. Okay. And so we're going to work through the hand rankings, showing you how 5-card hands are made, and what they are, and the order that they're in. Okay. And then we're going to show you how that actually comes into the game. The worst possible hand that you can get is no pair.
But you would get a pair of something because there's 5 cards and only 4 suits, so 2 of the cards will be the same.
No, a pair would be a pair of 9s, so you need a second 9 or a second spade or a second club or something. Yeah. So this...
Right, OK.
Right, so we're on to flush next. So next...
Until now, David's idea of training involved skipping, lifting weights and punching the daylights out of anyone silly enough to get in a ring with him. Poker, however, is an entirely sit-down affair. David's right. He's going back to school, and there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Get used to it. You will get used to it. It's only 2.
I forgot already.
And then let's give you the last one on this sheet.
Is it a lot? You're finding it a lot to...
No, not all. This is really easy.
Check the other one.
David will be attempting to master Texas Hold'em, one of the most popular versions of the game. To begin, every player is dealt 2 cards. They must then create the best 5-card hand, combining their 2 cards with the community cards that the dealer places on the table. These are dealt in 3 stages. The flop, the turn, and the river. Players are invited to place bets based on the strength of their hand throughout the game. They have the opportunity to check, do nothing, call, match their opponent's bet, raise, increase a bet, or fold, and take no further part in the hand. The game ends when one player is revealed to be in possession of the strongest hand, or all of their opponents have decided to fold. However, learning the rules is only half the challenge.
The next person puts in the big blind, which is twice the small blind.
So each one of your outs is worth about 2.5.
With a dictionary of terminology, phrases, poker pros speak a whole other language, one David is going to have to pick up on the fly. Ooh. So how was your head, Dave?
He was so insistent, David was so insistent. I've never played before, I'm saving myself, I haven't read any books, I haven't spoken to any friends. And now I believe him.
A lot of new terminology, a lot of using my brain in a very different way than I'm used to using it.
I think he's so used to doing everything physically, and he thinks in a certain way. When you play poker, you have to think in a different way.
Bit of homework tonight. I'm gonna sit down with the kids when they're doing their homework, I'll do my homework.
Over the next 2 months, it's boot camp after boot camp as the coaches fast-track David with the basics of the game.
Make a full house for us. Trips.
Straight flush.
Perfect.
It's intense stuff. But Joe, Katie and Jeff know how tough the Goliath Tournament is. They're doing everything they can to get David ready in time. But can David show the same level of commitment?
You have to stop and think. We'd raise with that. We'd quite happily get some action.
I've got quite a short attention span. I'm used to a lot of stimulus constantly. Generally, the word just went out of my head. All in, please. When not that much is happening, I kind of doze off.
So you could have got a real low there. Then whatever little you have, I say.
Then sort of wake up again and think, OK, it's my go. What have I got to do here? Who's doing what? And by the time I'm finding it out, I don't even know what cards I've got.
Straight at the flush. OK, so we go straight here.
He's okay to call sometimes.
For instance, how I play my hand here compared to how I play being a dealer.
When you're playing, no phones.
Yeah.
Like no texting.
Really important.
Concentrate.
So I think I'll need to switch on a little bit more, maybe a little bit more focused.
There's one reason David might be finding it hard to focus. Yeah, he's retired from boxing, but he still runs the boxing gym that bears his name. People queue up to train with the man who spent over a decade at the top of his game.
Good work, good work. Right, now back to straight punches now for 10 seconds. 20 seconds to go. 20 seconds ain't nothing. It's like you're jogging and punching at the same time. There you go.
His poker coaches weren't expecting him to have so many other commitments. And that's not the only thing keeping him busy. Word of his retirement has spread, and he's been inundated with offers of celebrity appearances and photo shoots for fancy clobber. Not only that, we've just found out that David has also taken up an offer to manage heavyweight boxer Derek Chisora. A pretty major responsibility, as you can imagine.
That was it, was there? There you go.
One that's surely gonna eat into his poker time. It's November. David is heading to Blackpool to take part in his first live poker tournament. It'll be an important marker to see how he's progressing. And, as you can see, he's raring to go. 3 months into the challenge, he should be fighting fit, but, as expected, managing Derek Chisora is demanding all his attention.
I've been non-stop recently. The same retirement, you're supposed to have a lot more time around. I've been absolutely a chocker the whole time. It's a massive event that now I'm promoting. So that's like you got press conferences, you got all the stuff that goes in and around promoting an event, which takes a lot of time. So this is something that's popped up literally 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Although I don't do enough poker, I am a boxing man at heart. So
I'm not sure the coaches will be too happy to hear that.
I've never been to Blackpool before. I heard a lot about it. It's like a ghost town. Yeah, it just looks weird.
We've got him for a couple of hours today, a couple of hours tomorrow, and then he's playing a £150 tournament against people who are ponying up their own money, who are trying to win the tournament.
And who are very well experienced.
He's not going to be ready, but, you know, we haven't seen him for 6 weeks. He's been away, he's cancelled on us. So now we've dragged him up to Blackpool as his punishment, and now we're going to teach him up here, and hopefully the sort of 6 or 8 hours we've got over the next 2 days will get him ready to go in. But, you know, going back to his boxing, it's like he's going in against experienced pros, and he's going in like a young, fresh kid who, you know, could be knocked out straight away, literally.
There's hardly anybody around. It's weird. It's like there's been some sort of nuclear meltdown somewhere and everyone's evicted the city. Strange.
You might want to get your mind on the game, David.
We have a special table for him to play on. It's a computerised RFID table. So the table itself is just going to be treated like a normal table in the normal tournament, but we'll be in the background, but we'll be able to see his cards and track them in private. And then what we'll do is the following day we'll come back and we'll school him and go through the hands that he played.
Hiya.
How are you?
How are you? You all right?
I'm good, young lady.
First things first, though. A quick cramming session to see how much David has remembered from boot camp.
Let's do this.
Well, we do have a little test for you.
Okay.
Right,
Don't mix them up.
They were all in order, those. So what hand beats one pair? What's the next hand ranking?
3.
No.
All the same denomination.
No.
So you've got one
Looking for a
pair.
hand in between.
You're jumping ahead.
You've got an
Okay,
eight-high
okay.
hand, you've
Yeah.
got one pair, and then you've got
2 pair.
Yes.
2 pair.
3 of a kind.
The next
Yeah.
hand that beats 3 of a kind is?
Think about it.
Oh, the flush.
No, this one.
This one.
Run.
A straight.
Straight.
Straight,
Remember,
fine.
they go in a straight line, 1 to 5. And this one is the next one.
Wait, and what's this one called?
Flush.
And
Do you
these-
remember me
that
saying
is-
about when you're flushing, you're colouring your cheeks, you're flushing?
Cheeks to the cards, so it's the connection.
Yeah, the biggest mistake beginners make is they limp too much.
What does limp mean?
And they don't raise enough. So limping is where you're just calling. So
Yeah,
if
people
you've got the
calling
small
bets, really.
blind and the big blind, and say it's 50 and 100, they will just call for 100. And you can't keep yawning throughout because they'll be like, right, OK, we can take advantage of him.
Is that right?
Because
So
they
you
think-
can't seem tired?
What's the nuts? Remember the nuts? We talked about the best possible hands you can have at any point. So when the flop comes down, think, what would the nuts be? When the turn comes down, think, what would the nuts be? Keep testing yourself and asking yourself these questions, focusing and concentrating. And I think if we can get rid of the phone...
If I'm at a table...
Realising that David has yet to grasp some of the very basics, the coaches are trying a last-ditch attempt to drill him as best they can. David, however, decides to limber up with a few deep squats before putting his coat on and heading out of the door.
Mind and how it all connects.
He decides he'd rather explore the streets of an out-of-season holiday resort.
What's going on, mate?
I was a little bit worried 10 minutes in when Jeff said, yeah, if somebody limps, and David said, what's limp? It's something that we went through. I appreciate there's quite a bit of time has elapsed since the last boot camp.
Triple 20.
No! I think the interesting bit is going to be that he knows we're going to be watching, so it's not that he's going to be able to get away with anything.
Bet people love these ones, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Everyone's like, it's an offensive treat.
It's not going to be too much fun for him. He's not sat there as a celebrity. He's sat there as making a guest appearance. He sat there as a poker player, and he's supposed to be trying to win this poker tournament.
Shame it's not a basketball tournament, eh, Jeff? The coaches might be concerned, but David is taking it all in his stride. And why not? After all, tonight, success is written in the stars.
Today is the same day 9 years ago I went to Nuremberg, Germany and won the heavyweight championship of the world against Nikolai Valuev. So today's a special day for me. So if there's ever a day to win something, it's today, 7th of November.
Lovely.
First one, thank you very much.
Right.
It's a big moment. David has bought into his first live tournament, confident of another famous victory. But how will he fare with the critical eye of his coaches watching on?
They're managing as well now, so managing.
David's first cards, the 3 and 4 of spades. Not a hand he should be betting on.
500.
It's not what we've taught him. And he's raising with 3, 4 of spades. And we've also told him patience.
Things improve on the river. All of a sudden, he's got 2 pairs.
3 and 4. There's 2 nines
he
out
does
there.
have the best
so-
hand.
Yeah.
And then he folds for some reason. It's an iffy start, and it won't get any better if David keeps betting from a weak position.
He's under the gun. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
So now you know which hands beat what, and you're ready to play some poker. Not so fast, hotshot. First, you'll need to know that nothing has a bigger impact on the game than where you find yourself sitting at the table. Under the gun, bad luck. You have to bet first, before you get the chance to see how everyone else feels about their cards. Small blind or big blind, congratulations. You have the honour of throwing additional chips into the pot at the start of the hand. Further around the table, things get rosier. If you're on the button, you'll bet last, having seen who's folded and who fancies themselves, giving you all the information you need to systematically pick apart their game. The catch? The positions rotate after every hand, and before you know it, you'll go from numero uno to betting completely in the dark. Back to the hand. David's got a queen and a jack, and he's getting chip happy.
He's not watching the action before.
Oh my God,
no,
okay, we're going to stack.
Both David and his rival hit 2 queens on the flop. David still has the weaker hand, until he hits another jack on the turn.
But how does he play it now he's hit the top, top 2 pairs?
Suddenly, David has 2 pairs, and he's in the driving seat.
If it doesn't come an ace, he's going to get a bit lucky here.
With no surprises on the river, he wins his first hand at a live tournament.
David's won his first pot, everybody.
Yes. I think he went all in as well then.
But I wouldn't get too excited, chaps.
Oh, God. His concentration's gone because he's now looking back at his cards.
Yeah.
His concentration's gone,
now he's hit
lost
6.
focus, and now he's playing too many hands, crappy cards. Can't even remember what he's got. That's the clue that he shouldn't be playing it.
Nifty dance moves are not necessarily the sign of a seasoned poker player.
Right, it's not. He needs to get in a poker player's mind.
Leaking chips, David panics and goes all in on a king and a queen.
All in.
We're all in. We're all in. David's all in. He's going to get called, and it's 50-50 if he's eliminated.
David's rival has a pair of 8s. David hits a second king on the flop, but his rival hits 3 of a kind. With no twists on the turn or the river, it's confirmed David is out.
Yeah, he's out. He's out.
All the 10s was a bit annoying.
David rather gallantly leaves the table. Despite the smiles, there's no hiding from the fact that in an all-day tournament, he's only managed to last 10 minutes. As Jeff feared, it's the equivalent of being knocked out by the first punch of a fight. If things couldn't get any worse, now he's got to face the coaches.
Let's go and review that.
What are we doing here?
Hey, back having a drink at the bar.
What?
He's not adjusted to the texture of the ball.
If you see a 20-to-1 shot at a horse, you don't think, well, I think that's going to win. You know,
because you already want it to.
Yeah, you know it's not going to win.
Yeah.
We do have a bit of work to do, though.
Yeah.
No, we have a lot of work to do.
How did you feel that you played?
Went pretty quickly. 13 minutes, including the walk back to the bar.
9:30 tomorrow morning, right?
Let's do it.
Bright and early.
The next morning, it's time to pick over the bones and see what exactly went wrong. But while the coaches have arrived on time, there's no sign of David.
God, I can't.
Grab one. There's no one here, that's the thing. There's nobody else.
What's he do when he catches an aeroplane?
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, I mean, from now on, I'm turning up half an hour after the allotted meet time, and then if I'm ever late, you know, as in people are waiting for me, I'll say, well, I've had like 5 hours sleep and get out of bed to come and do this. It's like a waste of time.
We're getting it all over social media this morning, saying, oh, did he not last very long? Oh. Well, no, he's not going to last very long if he's playing King 6, which is something we've not taught him to do. He's gone half past now.
For me.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I don't think he's coming, guys. Come on, let's go.
Exactly, that's what I do.
He's
As he's proving, he's not learning.
David finally strolls in 45 minutes late. After being kept waiting and with last night fresh in their minds, the coaches are ready to blow.
Hey, guys.
He's here.
Hello.
How are you?
You're
looking all...
You're late.
Am I? What time was I supposed to be here?
Don't you know?
Well,
what time is it
by
now?
10 o'clock, you're supposed to be in that seat.
No, I'm not. I'm not 45 minutes late.
You're 45 minutes late.
We're serious. We've been here for an hour and a half waiting for you. It's far too late. And you played terribly yesterday.
Got some cramming to do.
Yesterday was really bad. You played worse than we thought you were going to play. We need... Some of the things you did, I mean, we're going to go through these hands, but some of the things you did were just like, they're amateur mistakes. You need to get out. And remember when we first met the Goliath and you said, the one thing I want is I don't want to turn up at the Goliath next year and look like an idiot, murking and going, God, he's got knocked out already, what the hell's he doing? And you don't want to look like an idiot, and we don't want to look like idiots because we're coaching you. The manager will be getting sacked by now if you're a football manager. So honestly, we could have trained to sit there and put some chips forward, and he would
I'm
You could
not
probably have done a
joking,
with a
like-
better hand than that.
In 30 years, I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen someone do that in a pot, lean across the table and high-five their opponent.
Yeah.
So the first hand we're going to look at, the second
With
hand...
David's wrists well and truly
The
slapped,
ace-8 of diamonds.
the coaching team
So we're
break
gonna
down
start off with
everything he did wrong. And there's no holding back.
It's hard to keep being nice and keep it all, you know, it's all great. If he's done wrong, he needs to know, like, and turning up late and playing the wrong hands and playing out of position and a catalogue of errors.
They kicked my ass there after watching my play, which is I need. You know, it's easy to say, oh, you played great. You know, they had to keep it real with me and had to tell me you were shit, basically.
I think this morning we were hard on David, OK? I think it's a bit of tough love, to be honest. It had to be done.
What would make our training easier is if he put in a little bit behind the scenes, away from the tables, away from training. If he did the homework, if he looked at the guides, if he read the books that we've given him.
I'll figure out as I go along. I've never been one for, oh, that means that. No. I'll figure out as I go. I'm that guy. You know, when you get I don't know what, a remote control car when you're a kid, when you're putting it all together, you don't look at the instructions, you just figure it out as you're going. We all want the same thing, we all want the same conclusion, and you know, different people have got different ways of stressing that, they have different motivations, but collectively we're all on the same page.
At first, it seems that David has taken the coach's criticism on the chin. However, on his return to London, we get the feeling their tough love might not have had the desired effect.
Straight from SeaWorld. Come straight from SeaWorld.
Over the next few weeks, David keeps the coaches at arm's length and buries himself in the upcoming Derek Chisora fight instead. As for the fight itself, all is looking well for David's man, until a crushing left in the penultimate round ends the contest in a flash. If nothing changes, could David's poker career be heading for the same fate? We finally catch up with him 2 months later and discover he hasn't thrown the towel in just yet.
Not long after I embarked on this challenge, I've had a few other things happen in my life. Started to manage a boxer, Derek Chisora, and he had a massive pay-per-view event at the O2. Unfortunately, time playing poker had to get put on the back burner for a month or so. And then you've got family stuff, you've got Christmas, and so things keep getting in the way. But what I've tried to do is try to at least once every week or 2 weeks have a poker day in my gym, in the ring, literally in the ring, put a poker table up, get a dealer and have 6 or 7 buddies playing some poker. And I found that's been the best way to kind of keep it fresh, the rules, the strategy, and also having a few players who know what they're doing, who are basically professional players who play every day. In 6 months, I've got to this point now, to the point where I played at my dad's poker club, Eltham Terrace, and I got to the final table, and I came 6th. I think I got £40, I was the bubble, whatever that means. Didn't pay for my cab ride home, but the fact I got to the final table, I'm like, okay, is it pure luck? I don't know. I was there for 4 or 5 hours, but I did it. So I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. I'm definitely better at poker now than I was before.
He's about to head into his second big test, live tournament number 2. Playing poker with his friends has given him a much-needed confidence boost. And, although he hasn't had any contact with Jeff, Joe or Katie since the disaster of Blackpool, he heads into his coaching session with a spring in his step.
Pretty well, all's good. All is nice. I know now that the average poker player is shit, basically. Even somebody, just because someone plays every week doesn't mean they're good. You know, Joe, as I said, perfect practice makes perfect. And if they've been practicing incorrectly, they could do it every day.
Got bad habits.
Yeah, if you've got bad habits, loads of people have got really well-ingrained bad habits.
We're going to deal a hand to each seat. This will be under the gun when all the hands are dealt out. The options are, it's pre-flop, no one else has done anything, okay, in each hand. So you'll look down, you'll either fold, you'll call, or you'll raise. So let me just put all the hands in place first of all. So this is the first hand. Let's have a little look.
You can see.
You can turn it over if you want,
okay.
and we'll talk about it.
So these are ones, the ace high is nice.
Tell us your thought process.
thought process is it beats a lot of hands, but it's just ace high.
When you look at your first 2 cards, you have to look at the strength of the hand and your position at the table, okay? So obviously, you're under the gun, you're in the worst position. So you need a better hand. So this is what you've got to think about, right?
Okay.
So worst position, bad ace.
Chuck it off.
What are you going to do? Throw it away. Right, next one. There's not much difference between 2, 3, 2s, 3s and 4s, really.
You're going to throw that away.
Let's have a look.
Open it up so we can see. Yeah,
Perfect, yeah.
instant. And these sorts of hands, any position
Throw
you'd
away.
be throwing them in.
Good, good. That's why we're trying to get this discipline into you.
Yeah.
If you play that hand and someone calls your raise, they're not going to be calling it with king 8. So you want people to call you with worst hands. Right, next one.
Back in the classroom, the enthusiasm David turned up with quickly starts to fade. And once again, the coach's best efforts only succeed in bringing out David's unruly schoolchild.
Oh, raise and I'll call.
Shows the hand.
I'll call.
Calling's fine here.
That's fine. So you'd call the 300.
That's much better as well because previously you've been... And then people would re-raise for that hand too.
No difficult decisions on the turn or on the river. So folding on the turn is fine.
Pretty soon, David's eyes have completely glazed over.
Sometimes a lot of good players.
And yet another training session comes to a premature end.
I'm just going to...
I think it'd be wise to get a bit of fresh air and have a break before
frazzled,
starting.
literally.
I want you to be there from the start at 5 o'clock.
I don't think it's worth playing the last 2 hands. I think we should just leave those.
Yeah.
My brain, honestly, I can barely keep up with it.
No, we can tell.
I think he needs a nice break here before he goes and plays.
I do.
I just couldn't absorb it. All it was like was I was looking around their faces, and it was just like I didn't know what they were talking about, and I was like, I need to go and get out of here.
Now start thinking about every bit of that jigsaw rather than
no
just
commentary.
what my hand is. Because when you start out, all you do is you start thinking.
I feel like being at school again, just waiting for the bell to ring so I can get the hell out of there.
Having completely lost his mojo, David heads into his second major tournament. Can he fare better than last time out? It'd be hard not to, right?
Not bad, yeah.
Somehow, forgetting the advice the coaches just gave him, David kicks off by betting with a weak hand from a poor position. Backstage, there's a strong sense of déjà vu.
That was a mess. That needs to put big cross and a mess.
It's Blackpool all over again.
After all that, where we've done every start, you never limp, you never open limp. He's limped the second hand he's played.
I don't think he should be calling this. It's not King Jack off, not when they're under the gun.
Shortly after, it appears as though David has got more important stuff to attend to.
But straight away, he's back on his phone.
He's off on his phone, he's thinking about something else, he's not listening to what we're saying.
He's half his stack, isn't he?
He has just called.
Failing to get to grips with the game, he's soon facing an early bath.
He's got 5,000 left. Start the car.
He's not looking at what the board... He's not
No.
thinking again. He's now just gone back into thinking about his hand.
Suddenly, a glimmer of hope as David hits 2 aces. But his opponent gets a full house on the flop.
She's not going to pass anything because she doesn't pass.
Then hits 4 sevens just to rub it in. Yeah, in a 16-level tournament, he's been dumped out in round 1, improving his 10-minute record by a mere 2 minutes. Backstage, the coaches are at their wits' end and calling the production team for an emergency meeting. They're questioning if there's any point continuing.
Joe summed it up in Blackpool when he said, it's if we tell him to play only black cards and then he goes off and 5 minutes later he's playing red cards, it's not our teaching, it's not our training.
This isn't.
We're open to suggestions if you want to suggest something different.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying this is not about like what you're teaching him is not working and you're not teaching him properly, right?
The one thing I'd like to do, okay, and I tried to do, was take his phones off him.
No, that doesn't work. You can take his phones off him.
In the end, they hold off making a decision until later that evening, giving David a chance to buy back into the tournament.
Played 2 tournaments yesterday. One tournament I played in the afternoon, and that was after a 3-hour intense boot camp where I had all 3 coaches berating me continually, non-stop, just bam, 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 bam. I was trying my very best to absorb as much of the information as possible, but it got to a point where I hit a wall. After that boot camp, after I'd listened to them yabbering me, I went out there and played some terrible poker. My concentration was off. I lost the will to live. So I went home, went to sleep, got a solid hour, 20-minute sleep, came back refreshed, had some food.
Feel better now, feel a bit more revitalised.
And walked straight into the tournament, basically, without any information, no game plan, no nothing.
He's already playing better. He's already done.
Yeah.
He's already done good things.
I got some terrible cards, but I felt I played well.
He's folded, that's good. He played that well.
You know, out of 380 entrants, I got into the last 100, so...
And you know what else? He's paying attention.
Yeah.
For me, that was a good result.
You're telling us, Davy boy.
He's not engaging in chit-chat, he's not doing any of that. He's proper looking round.
I enjoyed it. It was fun, and I was ready to go. I wish I didn't go out at that point. I wish I could have played on, and that's how I need to be playing from now on. When a fighter comes back, there's a million different things you can say to the fighter. You pick two things. Move your head more. Your head wasn't moving that round. Just get that head moving. OK, head movement. You kept dropping your right hand, you kept getting caught with a left hook. Just keep that hand. OK, so head movement, keep that hand up. Yep, OK. Go back out and guess what? You move your head and you keep your hand up. But if you go back to the corner and someone says, right then, you know, when he pivots, move your back leg 6 inches to the right, but make sure your head rotates downwards at a 22-degree angle, as well as not keeping your eyes shut as he punches, because he feints a punch. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And that's how it feels like it is at the moment. Before I go out and playing, it's just too much information, and I need a lot less. I need to tell them slowly, calmly, concisely, simple, small bits of information as I'm going.
David will be meeting the coaches to go over his miraculous return to yesterday's tournament. In a flip of Blackpool, it's David who arrives early for the debrief. But it soon becomes clear that the feedback he's receiving isn't the simple, concise breakdown he's looking for.
Before it gets to you. Because you've got your... We go to this drawing, it might be easier to explain that.
That's not helping. I don't know that one bit. That makes me more confused. I was like, I've got numbers, and then a bunch of things I need to remember. It's not. I can't process it.
No.
I can't process. When you say it, break down, it makes perfect sense. I'm like, what the fuck am I talking about? But it's just because it was said really quickly. I was like, that's what it was. It's just
out of those hands, you're the only one that should be in this pot.
It's so important that you get those right, because they're the biggest pots, and they're the ones where you have to get the decisions right.
I set up how like it's aces v kings and the aces hold. Nothing wrong.
So if I get kings and I get all my money in against you, and you...
Everything you've said today, I haven't understood a fucking word of it. 3 people just continuously talking, and then sort of just switching off. I feel more confused now after a couple of hours of talking about poker that I did do before I walked in here. That's not the idea of learning something. I've got to let them know that it's not working like this. So I think they realise how I learn is by playing and by adjusting how I'm playing when I'm playing. So we've worked out that we're going to go to play more tournaments.
Despite what they've agreed, it's obvious David has had his fill of his coaching setup. And convinced he's making more progress playing poker with his friends, he decides to turn to one friend in particular, and all of a sudden, David's poker training takes an almighty twist. Audley Harrison shot to fame by winning heavyweight gold at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. But since retirement, he's making a name for himself on the international poker circuit.
So me and David's got a long history, all boxing related.
A history that includes a pretty one-sided matchup in 2010.
It's very hard.
and now we're back to being friends again. So it's kind of ironic that I'm back here now, kind of, you know, involved with David's poker career.
An SOS from David, and Audley jumps into action.
He reached out to me and kind of told me some of his frustrations, and just like, you know, the way it was going, it wasn't working for him. You know, the way that he was learning, the way that they were teaching him wasn't working for him.
I was learning, but I wasn't learning at a rate which was going to give me any chance of doing anything.
So I just thought the time's right, maybe to jump in and offer some support. I've come into the poker world before because I lived in Vegas, boxing my career there, and Vegas is like the boxing capital of the world, but it's also the poker gambling capital of the world, so it's kind of like a natural transition. Over 12 years, 13 years of playing poker, I've got a lot of experience. I've cashed it.
I said to Audley, we need to make a move. Can you help me? He said, where are you? So I'm in London. I said, do you want me to come to LA?
LA was good, but Audley decided a more extreme change was called for. 10,000 miles in the opposite direction, and not a classroom in sight.
So I just thought, think outside of the box. I know David, know how he operates. We've traveled around the world together boxing. Why not travel around the world for poker?
He said, you can't connect with poker when you've got so many other things happening in your life. You need to come away from it. You need to go somewhere where there's no distractions.
Ace King doesn't have a divine right to win the hand. Okay, pocket twos to beat your Ace King. That's that, right? Nice and warm.
And I know that there was some resorts around the world. I mean, where could he go? You know, found a great resort in the Philippines. I knew it was way off the beaten path.
You're not kidding.
Well, let me tell you, you got to fly to Philippines. We drive from the airport, and you get there by boat.
So I'm here in El Nido, a little island in the Philippines, here with the main man, A-Force himself, Audley Harrison. We've got this little boat here. It's going to be taking us to our lovely little hideaway.
The phone don't work, there's no phone reception. Okay, so you're really isolated. And it was really, I felt, the perfect place to go to get David's attention.
Oh, this is more to my liking.
Now, if we're honest, when we first heard about this, we thought David just fancied going on his jollies with his mate. But on their way to the Philippines and every moment since they've arrived, all David and Audley do is talk poker. Play poker, then talk poker some more.
We sat down and we said, we're going to play some poker now.
There's a thing in poker called counting your out, okay? So have you ever heard anybody talk about counting your out? Never heard of it before.
And we just played hour upon hour upon hour of heads-up poker.
There's 4 kings that we haven't seen in the pot. There's 4 kings. You see the amount of thinking that you have to do. If you think like that, yeah, that's the biggest pot we played today. When you first start playing poker, it's about 80% luck, 10-20% skill. When you learn about the game, you realise it's the other way around. At the top level, it's 80% skill, 20% luck. There's a variable that you can't overcome. That's why the same person can't win every time, because that luck factor, that 20% could bust him out of a tournament. So I was really intrigued by the strategic part of the game.
Every time I play a hand, he'd say, okay, so why did you do that? Give me a reason. I tell him why I would play the hand. He said, no, because X, Y, and Z.
You know, David learns by, he's not a guy that went to school. I think he left school when he was young. So he's not a guy that learns from books and from, you know, writing an essay and studying it. Because I gave you credit, because I thought, he played like he had the 8.
Yeah. That was my plan.
He learns from trial and error. That's who he is. So playing a lot of hands and then talking to him about, that's the reason why you shouldn't do it like that is because of this. He's getting an understanding, fast-tracking him to start learning poker strategy, poker logic.
There's also the chance to get physical, something David was crying out for back in the UK.
Be able to run up this for fun back in the day. Now, hell no. Okay, not shabby, okay.
So I went for a hike all the way down from the resort down there, all the way up here. And this sweat, it's no joke.
You're going to be cool, calm, collected, And it's all internal. Centered, that's the key thing. So we're up here right now getting centered.
Today, just playing constant hands like that definitely
sharpened your mind a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
After 2 full days of playing non-stop head-to-head poker, it's starting to get very competitive. David is holding his own, and it all comes down to this: the final hand of the holiday, and it could go either way.
For you to win this, you'd have to be very lucky.
100. See what you got, man.
Three of a. You got to have 3 of a kind with a better kicker.
It's 3 of a kind for Audley. However,
I've got a 9 also. I've got a fucking jack. Got a full house.
Oh, you got a full house. Woo!
Take that.
Woo! Wah!
Next thing you know, I'm beating Audley.
Wow. Great finish. Great finish. Love it. That's very. Love it. So David, 2-1. 2-1.
He got me to a position where I was beating him, which means he's doing the right thing.
Of course, it can't all be work, work, work. So the next morning, the lads take a well-earned break. They set out to explore their island getaway.
How's that rum coming along?
He's up there.
And make friends with the local wildlife.
Grab my harpoon. That's terrible, terrible taste, that is. My poker game, I can feel it getting better by the minute.
All these little trinkets is helping him get
focused.
This is nothing to do with it. This is nothing to do with it.
Get out of that.
Horrible, but I think this is the right place to get him focused.
Literally every minute we're here, I feel like I'm becoming a better poker player. That's
true story.
True story.
Audley Harrison, Mr. A-Force himself, has suggested, requested, we come to the Philippines as he believed there was something here that wasn't in our...
I knew.
It wasn't in London. There was something special here. It was serenity. It was centering oneself. And here we are. I feel centered. I feel like I'm ready to play some poker.
Getting him to think different, getting him to act different. He's going to play differently because we've gone outside of the box. Watch and see. Mark my words. Mr. David Haye is going to make it into the cash. He might even go all the way because he's a new man. I think when he leaves here, my goal for David will be for him to believe it's possible. And I already sit here today, I already know he thinks it's now possible.
If David's game has come a long way, not just geographically speaking, now's the time to prove it. The lads are setting off for downtown Manila, where they'll be entering the main event of the Asian Poker Tour. It'll be David's first international competition, and he'll be pitting his wits against seasoned pros from all over the land. Luckily, there's time for a confidence-boosting stop-off along the way.
We're going to go and summon some positivity and some energy. The greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, famously had the thriller in Manila.
The thriller in Manila.
So we're going to go and check out the stadium.
It'd be rude not to, boy.
It'd be rude not to.
In the blue corner, Joe Frazier. In the red corner, Muhammad Ali.
So this is where one of the greatest
wow,
ever sporting events took place. Here we go.
Whoa, way.
October 1st, 1975.
Thriller in Manila. We're in history right here.
Feel the energy, Can you feel it?
Just imagine it.
Ooh.
It's 15 rounds, and here is round 1.
They said it was nearly 50 degrees, 20,000 people. Can you imagine that type of intensity?
Two of the greatest trainers of all time was in their corners. Angelo Dundee in one, Eddie Futch in the other. It was one of the most watched fights. I think they got about 700 million people.
700 million people.
You know, take that spirit, take that energy. That's why we're here. I mean, this is a long way to come to get it, but you can feel it. I can feel it right now.
Yeah.
Take that This is the field of dreams here, Thriller and Melina. Feel it! Energy! It's here! Right now! Okay, go get it, baby. Let's do it. Go take it. Your time.
It's all over.
With past greats in his corner, David is ready to take on the competition. However, Audley thinks he needs one more finishing touch. An alter ego.
Audley was on about, he said, what's your image? I'm the captain. I'm the captain of the table. The table's my ship, and I'm the captain of it. If you sit at my table, it's my ship. And we found a captain's hat. I was like, oh, but that is meant to be. No longer am I the boxer. That guy's retired. I'm Captain... Captain Haymaker. Good to see you again.
So, will it be plain sailing for Captain Haymaker? Or will he be cast adrift in a tropical storm? Oof. He looks relaxed as he feels his way into the game, with Big Ord close by for moral support.
Oh, chasing the
yeah. Hanging tough, about 200,000 chips. The average is 97, so I'm over double the average. How many people left in it? 90? 71 people.
It appears David's one-to-one training with Audley is already paying off. In a high-class field, David keeps hold of his chips and makes it through to the second day of competition.
This level is the higher level, and you've ridden the whole day out. You never been in life support.
No.
But David's not celebrating yet. Tomorrow is the final day, and he's got his eyes on a cash prize.
Went back to the hotel, run over some more hands. OK, you did this, you needed to do that. We worked through it time and time again. So then I went back to the big main event.
David gets stuck into day 2, and he's starting to look comfortable, mixing it up with the other finalists. It's a long slog, but he keeps playing well, stays focused.
Tournament poker to win. Huh?
Playbook.
Huh? Playbook. Follow it.
Other players in the room are falling away fast, and, incredibly, he ends the day inside the top 30. Audley's prediction has come true. He's made it into the money.
All of the teaching, all of the hours of repetitive play, of potentials, and it all came together.
David, big up. Go on. Respect.
And I cashed today, a couple hours ago. You know, I came 28th out of hundreds of people. Hello, come to collect my winnings. Thank you very much. Good doing business with you. Woo. Like that. Cashed in my first APT tournament. Happy about that. Yeah. Drinks from me.
As for his training partner, well, he doesn't do badly either, finishing second overall and pocketing a cool £10,000.
I don't just want to enter Goliath as a gimmick and lose. I want to win it. I want to give myself the best possible chance of winning. If I come second, great, but I want to come first. I need to spend more time with Audley. We need to keep doing this. We need to keep it going.
Later that evening, they hit the town to spend their winnings. In the excitement, David gloats on social media about how well things are going with new mentor Audley. Posts which, in the cold light of day, might be seen as a touch insensitive to his coaching team back in the UK.
We've had no feedback from it. We don't really know how he did particularly and how he got on over there, apart from we saw on social media that he, I think he finished 16th in an event and Audley came second in it. Yeah. But I mean, I've played poker with Audley a few times, and Audley's no great shakes as a player. Apparently they just played poker heads up against each other all day, every day, and we're learning that way. But Audley's, he's an okay poker player, like he was an okay boxer, I guess.
When he started this journey with us, he hasn't got a respect for us instantly that he may have with someone else like Audley, who he knew in the boxing arena, if you like.
What's a shame, and it is a shame, is that had he put the effort in and done the proper homework and the proper reading and turned up on time and listened and really paid attention, he would have got so much more out of it up to this point.
Whatever the coaches think about Audley, David is convinced sticking close to his wingman will be the key to toppling Goliath. So, instead of heading home, he continues on his globe-trotting extravaganza to Audley's hometown of LA.
Santa Monica, rolling.
With less than 2 months to go, David knows he needs to keep pushing himself. So why not take on the biggest winner poker has ever seen?
I came to LA because we have the World Series of Poker happening in Las Vegas, and Audley Harrison lives in LA. His mentor, Antonio, also lives in Santa Monica, and he said he has a game once a week, a cash game, and he said it'd be a good experience for me to come down and donate some of my money to him.
Hey, man. Pleasure to meet you.
You too, you too. How are you? Really good.
Should we go?
As well. Let's do it now. I heard
Antonio Esfandiari is a genuine poker superstar. In 2012, he claimed the largest single payout in tournament poker history of $18.3 million.
Me and Audley fought each other.
Oh, you guys fought?
Hey,
Who
we
won?
fought each other. I won.
Yo, that's my dog.
He's bigger than me. He's got the size, I had the speed.
He followed that up by winning another high-profile bet with comedian Kevin Hart when the two celebs went toe-to-toe in the boxing ring. Audley offered to train Esfandiari for the fight. In return, Antonio taught Audley how to make it as a poker pro. Could his Midas touch rub off on David too?
How you doing? How you doing?
I heard he knocked you out.
Yeah, it happens to us all, man. It happens to us all.
We did it. We trained hard for 7 months. I ended up winning the fight, which was great, and we became good buddies. He's a great guy. I learned so much about boxing.
In August, I've got to play in this, the biggest tournament outside of Vegas, about a 10,000 entrance, and I've got to somehow find a way to win it.
But even for Antonio, winning doesn't come easy.
When you go deep in a tournament, that feeling is incredible. But that doesn't happen a lot. I've only won 7 major tournaments out of all the ones that I played in.
With those sort of odds, David needs to do everything he can to give himself a competitive edge. Luckily, LA is full of kooks, experts, who can help him do just that.
I wanted to see a memory coach.
I'm excited about helping you unlock your memory potential.
It feels locked. It definitely feels locked.
We're going to unlock it.
I want to see an acting coach. I've become very aware that poker is not only about the cards, it's about your acting skills. And I wanted to see a doctor about my sort of cognitive function and to see if there's been any issues with my boxing that's led on to potentially hindering my chances in poker.
Dr. Williams.
How you doing?
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
No.
So, yes, I've practiced. I'm a confident poker player.
I'm a confident poker player. People can see when I've got a good hand, and I don't want them to know that. When I look at the cards, apparently my face tells them.
Well, we got big eyes. It's good for actors.
Okay.
Because actors are expressive through their eyes, behind their eyes.
I know that this is my chance to make a move. I want to show that I've got a good hand, but I'm not so good, everybody folds.
You're very open. You're a very vulnerable person. You can see what you're feeling.
We can see if there's any evidence that maybe the boxing has had any effect on brain wave organization.
I'll concentrate on what everyone else is doing, and then I think, what cards have I got?
Okay.
1 minute later.
Don't move your head, just your eyes.
3.
Let me see. Let me have you smile.
I've got to look maybe sometimes 10 times in the game at what my cards are.
I think we can easily improve that.
You cannot do this. It was very dramatic. So you had a good hand?
I had a good hand, yeah.
Well, it's very clearly you had a good hand.
I know.
You basically went like this.
We're going to go over how to turn names into visuals.
Okay. Imagine Bradley Cooper driving a Mini Cooper.
You're already on the right track. 4 was...
Door.
7.
Heaven.
9 was...
Wine. 10, hen. Tom is waking up. I'm waking up.
Yeah, man.
That's all syringes for.
So don't worry about those.
Don't worry about those. Right.
We collect information about your brain waves, what speed they're firing at, how synchronous that firing is.
I'm not firing.
We'll get
Make it more about the other person.
Okay.
And less about you. Make it about them.
So I'm looking at them, I'm looking at smoking them out.
That's good. I like that persona too. Wow, that just totally.
It still feels like I'm smiling a little bit.
No, it doesn't matter. You're using you. That's what I like about it.
Okay.
I actually thought that was the best you did.
We're gonna use something called the story method to build a little story here. First, concentrate on that monkey
Yeah.
dancing around. It suddenly picks up a gigantic iron.
That's just had a kite hit into it. That's connected to a rope that has an iron at the end of it with a monkey holding it.
I think I've been doing this like 10 years. I'm almost wanting to say you're like a memory genius.
No, no.
You're going backwards already. You have no memory problems. It's just been your approach.
You see, your peak is up here at about 11.
Yeah.
That's fast.
More information.
More horsepower.
That's right.
Rapid alternating movements, coordination, all of that looked very good.
Yeah.
So no concerns, no red flags at all there.
Normally when I forget things, I always put it down to, I must have been punching the head too much. I can't really use it as an excuse anymore.
With his acting, memory and cognitive skills given the all clear, it's high time David played some poker. And he leaves, riding on a wave of support from his new LA BFFs.
If an acting coach can't tell when you're bluffing, I think you're in a good place.
He's come a long way, having known nothing just 7-8 months ago.
You have an amazing memory, David Haye. That's awesome, man. That's so awesome.
Yeah!
That's so awesome.
Las Vegas, the spiritual home of poker, and David's final stop before heading home to take on Goliath. He's arrived in time for the World Series of Poker, where 8,000 players will be hoping to hustle their way to a share of an $80 million prize pot. Before he collects his chips, David has arranged a couple of meetings.
The best of the best guys coming in to give me a little scrub up before we hit the tables.
People he hopes will provide him with the final touches to his game, like Elliot here.
299, relax. 298, relax. And as you slowly exhale, releasing any stress.
He's a guy who hypnotizes you. He puts you into a trance, and then he runs through how you feel when you're playing. I'm feeling happy. A little bit nervous. All eyes on me.
Just take a deep breath. Slowly exhaling, releasing that tension, accepting it's still just solving puzzles.
This guy has spent a lot of time with Audley, and Audley said, when you're in Las Vegas, you have to do a session with Elliot. He can really be beneficial to my game. I feel like I now belong here, and everyone else thinks I don't, but that's going to give me the edge. I met a guy called Zach, who is an expert in poker tells. He's written 3 books about poker tells. So if there's anyone going to give you any tips on tells, it's Zach. And this is the guy who I need to have on my side so I can see what everyone else is doing.
Do they laugh a lot? That might mean that they're very relaxed and they have a good hand. You'll see a lot of people raising and then double checking their cards, and for a lot of people that's a sign that they don't have aces or kings or whatever. They're not the strongest end of their range. Bluffers just don't want to accidentally convey uncertainty, and that's what double checking your cards in that spot means.
Okay.
Bluffers tend to want to convey strength by doing things more quickly.
Every poker player who's worth his weight is here in Vegas right now. I feel confident. I'm looking forward to getting out there and sitting at a table and showing my patience, going out there and doing nothing if needs be. Let's go to work. I need this around my wrist.
High on confidence and in the best shape of his poker life, David heads into the venue, ready to battle his way through a sea of opponents.
My golden ticket, the Haymaker, is taking on the Millionaire Maker. And these are all the champions up here.
For day one, there's thousands of people in that site.
However calm and centred David was feeling beforehand, nothing could prepare him for a tournament of this size.
And if you look behind me, all these people are playing, all in the same competition. A lot of people.
It's a bit of an eye-opener to see so many different
poker players, and every single one of them believes they're going to win it.
Of course, David's wingman is here too.
Going and playing in the Goliath, you know, having to play for 2 hours and break and then lunch, you're getting a great education here. This is about survival. This is a long-term, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's all smiles and everyone jokes good luck and all that, but nah, people want to win. They want everyone else to get crashed and burned.
It's hot, claustrophobic, the poker is relentless. There are nearly 3,000 players in one room, and among their number, a few familiar faces. Like David, Katie, Jeff and Joe are fighting to get through the first day. And they fall away, one by one.
That's the worst feeling I've ever had. It feels a waste. It feels like an opportunity missed. It's a gut-wrenching feeling. It's a not wanting to leave. It's like sort of having seen a car crash and having to be led away sort of quietly. I hate losing at anything. No. Doesn't matter whether it's for £1 or £1 million or even, you know, for nothing. It's just for winning and for pride, and I want to be the best.
Over on David's table, the atmosphere is fierce. David's hanging in there, but he's up against his toughest competition yet. He spots his chance to make it to the second day and goes all in. He fancies his chances, but his hopes are dashed as his opponent takes the win. Convinced he was going to do better, he desperately tries to buy back into the game. But with no time left to catch the chip leaders, Audley sensibly holds him back.
Don't feel like I've lost.
You haven't lost anything. You haven't lost anything. You've gained. You've gained because you're getting. All this is right now. It's about experience.
Yeah. And I know why I messed up.
Yeah, but that don't matter. You got to put that behind you. But I'm saying the energy of like shit. I want to go back. You don't want that.
Is this the time I walk away and?
Yeah, and that's big boy business, David.
What if I came back and won the whole thing?
No, it don't matter. You've got plenty of tournaments to win. This is someone else's tournament.
It wasn't because of bad play, it was just bad luck.
Bad luck it might have been, but he'll be stewing on his performance all the way back to the UK. And, considering all the expertise he's acquired to finesse his game, this was not the morale-boosting trial run he was looking for. Luckily for David, his friends won't let him head into Goliath on a low. They're giving him a proper send-off. And it might just be the hit of positivity he needs.
I just love the buzz of it. I just have a feeling he's going to do well.
10,000. 10,000.
The hardest player to play against, in my opinion, is a unprofessional player that is playing because it's so unpredictable.
You thought you were losing.
The fundamentals, he's gone from there to there. And I think that's just down to one thing. He likes to win.
The day has finally come, the start of the Goliath Tournament. Over the last 12 months, David has experienced it all. Humiliating defeats, making it into the money, novelty hat wearing, and learning what it takes to live the life of a poker star. Can he now take everything he's learned, deliver a knockout blow, and claim one of the most remarkable victories in poker history? David's progress throughout the tournament will be live streamed around the world. Everyone will have their eyes on him, including Audley in LA and coaches Jeff, Katie and Joe.
He's been introduced to a number of different personalities along the way that some will have helped and some might have hindered. But he's come towards the end of that journey and he's today playing the Goliath for the first time.
I believe I know enough now to hold my own with most people. Maybe not beat all of them, but to hold my own and to make the right calls.
We weren't used the best way that we could have been. We weren't given the time and we weren't given the tools and we weren't given enough of David.
No, I'm here to win this thing, so I'm going to need to be a little bit uncharacteristically unsociable.
We're going to see what he's made of.
David versus the Goliath is obviously the biblical story of David versus Goliath, and the small person knocking down the big person. It's the sort of same thing, that a small person could come in and take a big chunk of money.
It's day one here in Coventry for Goliath. David versus Goliath, and I am that David about to go toe-to-toe with probably 10,000 different people. It's going to be a tough ask. The smart money's on me not actually qualifying day one, but I've got a couple of moves up my sleeve, so I'm going for it. I'm confident, I'm feeling good. I've got my captain's hat, my shades, got the branded kit going, and I'm ready to rumble. Let's do this.
Dave might look the part, but if he's going to stand any chance of winning, first he's going to have to make it through qualifying. David will be competing in a maximum of 3 qualifying days, all known as day one. Each of these days is made up of 16 levels of competition. If any player is eliminated between levels 1 to 6, they can re-enter as many times as they like. However, once they pass level 6, they've only got one shot to make it to the end of the day and earn a place in the second round. If David fails 3 days in a row, though, it's lights out.
We're watching the live stream table with David Haye.
David takes his seat, ready to battle through a 10,000 strong field. In a flash, his stack of 25,000 chips is cut to 8,000. Itching to make progress, he tries a bluff with a jack and a 5. He goes all in, but his playing partner is having none of it. First blood to Goliath.
That's the first time I've done a big bluff, and I got caught out, got caught with my fingers in the till.
Undeterred, David comes back for a second go. And once again, he's swiftly sent packing. Looks like those re-entries are gonna come in handy.
Second time I've just bombed out just then.
Even with a relatively good hand, the cards are not falling his way. He's aiming to topple Goliath, but if this continues, he's barely gonna give it a scratch. On to his 4th re-entry. And it doesn't look like things are shaping up too well here either.
So after probably about 10 hours of play, I'd had 4 chances and lost in every time and didn't really play that well.
Well, he just keeps getting knocked out from what we've heard. We've heard he's been out 4 times.
I'm glad I got knocked out by you.
I love you.
There you go.
Oh my God.
He's trying to gamble his way to day 2.
He's not going to be getting there with, small little
I
stuff.
watched some of his table though, and it was a pretty wild table. So I'm playing on another table, watching on my phone, and his table was completely wild.
David heads off to lick his wounds. He returns the next morning, refreshed and ready for day 1, number 2. But can he find a way through?
3,000.
Praise.
No. I'm playing okay, playing better today. I was playing a lot more hands today, just getting involved in it a little bit more entertainment, a bit of banter, and no, it's been good. I've been really enjoying it. So
He makes a stark improvement and manages to tough it out for 8 hours without having to buy back in. But just as the day draws to a close, so do his chances.
It's getting closer, and that's my time done in day 2. But tomorrow is another day, and hopefully these fuckers are going to go through, so I don't have to battle with them again. And very gentlemanly taking away my chips. Thanks, guys.
So I came with a lot of confidence for Wednesday, the first day at Goliath.
It's tough to make day 2. It's not like play really good and you'll make day 2. I mean, you have to play 16 levels.
David knows his game needs to improve and fast. So he makes an emergency call to his best bud for a spot of advice.
It's not the greatest start. I can't get it right. I don't know what it is. I just keep doing the wrong thing.
David and Goliath, man, we gotta make sure you get there.
I'll do it.
I'm gonna get myself organised and get myself over there.
All right. Perfect. All right, bro.
But listen, you gotta never pull it tomorrow. You get me, stay focused and see if you can get there tomorrow.
All right, we'll do.
And we'll connect.
Peace.
All of a sudden, it's the third day of qualification. David has used up his lives, and this is his last chance to make it any further in the competition. Early doors, and he's struggling for form.
Everything I did was the wrong thing. Everything from start to finish, and I really struggled.
Don't panic, David. The cavalry is on its way. As promised, Audley has dropped everything and has jetted over from the States to lend David his support.
Mr. A-Force Audley Harrison, he's just landed from LA. Some support.
With the dream team back together, can David's fortunes improve?
I did.
It's a grind. He dices with elimination time and time again. But at the end of the day, he's still standing. And he makes it through to day 2. Just.
The Haymaker himself has made it through to day 2.
Oh, thanks a lot.
So you can't be happier for a guy.
I've got a measly 99,000 stack. That's less than half the average, but...
Let's take it.
David has squeezed through by the skin of his teeth. Day 2 will be a battle with such a small stack of chips, but for now it's time to celebrate an amazing achievement. Audley gets a shoulder bump, and it's all smiles as Katie has made it too. But not everyone could avoid the chop.
You know, the 2 of my 3 coaches, Katie Swift, was able to get through.
I think one of the biggest compliments to a teacher is when the pupil surpasses them. I'm not saying I'm better than them, but it must be nice for them as coaches to see someone they've taught go through and do something that they haven't done up until this point.
There's now a 2-day break before play resumes.
Refocus, make some phone calls, talking to some pros.
And there's one pro in particular that David is keen to meet up with.
My name's Jeff Gross. I'm a professional poker player.
As well as winning over $5 million in prize money, Jeff is one of the planet's leading authorities on poker strategy. Jeff being in town is a massive slice of luck for David. And there's nobody better to help him with his small stack problem.
99,000 chips, I'm like 208,000 is the average from my guys who went through. Why not? That's where I won that belt from.
We're going to look at those spots and find some opportunities that maybe you could find to leverage your stack and pick up some non-showdown chips. So yeah, but you're in good shape. This is good. Let's do it. Generally, shoving is going to be the right play, but there are scenarios where you want to raise and not shove, and I would recommend min raise always. Limp, but you know.
David's chip stack is so low, he'll burn through it simply by placing blinds at the start of a hand. There's only one course of action: to play aggressively, to rattle his opponents and get on a level playing field as quickly as possible. And hey, maybe Jeff's advice is working already.
Come on, this isn't even made up.
And maybe, just maybe, the cards are starting to fall in David's favour.
I get how he thinks and why he's thinking the way he does. So, but he's coming along quickly. I think you're ready for a big day
tomorrow.
Yeah, you gotta think so. Cool. Thanks, man. That was fun. Really appreciate it.
Lesson over. It's time to head back to Goliath. From here on out, it's all down to David. Seconds out, day 2.
I don't have the luxury of being able to wait an hour. I've got to make something happen pretty quick.
When David made day 1 and made it through, I started believing.
The crowds are pouring in. Day 2 is about to begin, and once again, all eyes are on our David.
I didn't really think he was going to qualify, to be honest. I mean, I hope he doesn't take that to offence, but...
What's the best I can do? The best you can do is win 100,000+. Why would I not aim to do that? I want to win the whole thing. That's why I'm here.
He could do really, really well, but I think he's got a fight on his hands.
We are just about to start the biggest day 2 in history.
Please begin to deal.
It's day 2, no more day 1s. We are around 130 places off of the money.
It's an incredibly tense start.
12,000.
On one hand, David knows he has to make a move within the first few hands or he'll run out of chips. But he's also got to wait for the right moment or his opponents will pounce. Taking Jeff Gross's advice, he plays ruthless, precision poker.
18,000.
And manages to increase his stack from 99 to 160,000. He's passed the first test with flying colours.
You're good. You're back in the game. But now slow down now.
Yeah.
And build it up.
Applying the brakes will be easier said than done. But David might have to, as he soon faces an almighty decision. He's got a pair of jacks, but his opponent has queens. David will be sure he can win the pot. But if he calls, he's out.
He is folding jacks. That's a cracking fold.
David folds, to the relief of everybody watching. He may not have won the hand, but it's an inspired move that's kept him in the game and won him the respect of everybody at the table. Shortly after, David has moved up to 260,000 and lands a pair of aces.
Aces, he has got aces. Wow, he took a few seconds to call there.
All in.
All in.
A few months ago, the others would have read him like a book, but it looks like those acting classes are starting to pay off.
David looks like he's comfortable. He looks like he's going for it. He's got a big hand.
So, king on the flop, so we've actually got some direct outs to boss David now. It's a good turn for the aces.
With no nasty surprises on the turn or the river, David takes the win and claims a bumper pot to more than double his stack.
This is going to take it past.
Hey, when it's your time, it's your time.
Yeah. David Haye up to over $500,000 now. Aces are holding.
Word gets around, and the team are starting to believe. David is on a roll.
David and Goliath.
There's 3 more people need to come out before we're in the money, so I'll cash if I'm not one of the next 3 people to get ejected from Goliath here in Coventry.
Here we go, bubble time.
A few dropouts later, and it's confirmed. David's made it into the money at Goliath. A miracle considering where he was a few months ago.
So we're all in the money, everyone here.
In no time, David has doubled his chips yet again. He's starting to boss the table and is sending a string of experienced players packing.
36,000.
Raised to 36,000.
All in.
All in. A few hands on, and he goes all in on 3 jacks. It's a huge pot. He takes the win, and his chip total surges to 1.6 million, to the utter disbelief of those watching on.
That's how you play poker.
Ta-ra, mate.
You're in good shape now, and you're down to 200.
How many people are left in it now?
330, I think.
A few hands later, David has got pocket 2s. His rival tries to bluff him.
Oh, he's raised it up.
He's gone for the check raise.
Right.
Wow, that's very strong.
But David's instincts are on fire.
I think he's going to...
He takes his time, carefully reads his opponent, and goes all in.
He's gone all in. That is... What a move! Oh, he's absolutely soul red, Graham, here. That is the unbelievable soul read from David Haye.
David stares his foe down. Who folds? David's proving that he's on a whole other level.
What a fantastic show.
That Lady Luck that wasn't with me on day 2, that was just abandoned me. She's come back and she's with me at the moment, so.
David continues to make gains, knocking out seasoned players at will. However, he might be about to come unstuck. He's got a pair of jacks, but his rival has kings and looks odds on to win the hand.
Alex is just begging for a call. He's just saying, well, please, please, please call. It's a fantastic spot for him to be in. I don't know.
David thinks hard. It's a crucial decision.
I don't know. Just go back
Just close. You just think about it and it's a massive decision, this is.
This is going to be a huge pot, well, it's a huge pot already, actually.
It'd be good to take that bit longer with the extra before the original 300,000 donk bet.
Yeah. Cool, Jack 10, it's another huge pot. It's 2.8 million.
He's got 25% here.
David has called. He's about to take a massive hit, unless the dealer turns over a 10 or a jack.
He's been hitting jacks, so he did earlier.
That'll do.
Wow.
It's 3 jacks and a full house. He's knocked out yet another experienced player and added 1.4 million to his total. It's unbelievable.
And the Jack 10 of David Haye picks up a massive pot. He's over 5 million.
When it's a time, could be David time.
This is getting serious. And David Haye is on an absolute heater at the moment, absolute tear, and he is knocking people out left, right, and centre.
With over 5 million, David is now one of the tournament's chip leaders. All of a sudden, the unthinkable has become a distinct possibility.
If it's supposed to be me who wins this thing, then I'll win the majority of those all-in situations. If I'm not, I won't.
I mean, there's not more people out in this than there ever did in England.
5.1 million chips, which is from 99,000. Impressive.
4th place of everybody. No way.
David's come off the feature table now, he's gone onto a standard table.
I'm loving this table. Shame it's over now. I've got to go back to a regular table now.
Away from the glamour of the featured table, the tournament drifts on into the night. At the business end of the competition, every hand is a grind. David toughs it out and makes it into the top 100. But has he got the stamina to keep slogging it out with his vastly more experienced rivals?
I'm applying all of the things I've been taught over the year. I'm going for it. I'm giving it everything I've got. I'm trying to really, zone in. I don't think I've ever concentrated on any one thing for this long in my life.
There are now fewer than 50 players remaining, and the quality of the field gets higher and higher with every elimination. Every decision is crucial. The tension is off the chart. Mistakes are creeping into David's game at the worst possible moment.
That's cost him like 350k, 2 hands.
They did.
And it wasn't like he lost into a bad hand, it was just him giving it up, betting out position.
David still claims the odd win, but his stack has taken a major hit, and the crowd is smelling blood. From almost 10,000 entrants, there are now only 43 players left. David starts the next hand, desperate to stay in touch with the leaders.
And I don't know, I just feel like it's the right thing to do. I think I'm going to go for it, so.
There are 3 players left in the pot.
300.
And David likes the look of his hand. He goes all in.
All in.
All in, baby. I like this feeling. I love it.
After a nervous wait, David's first opponent folds. But there's no rattling opponent number 2. He calls and reveals his cards. He's got a flush, and David's got a flush. But his opponent's is slightly better, and David is beaten by the slimmest of margins. His valiant attempt to defeat Goliath is over.
Go for it.
It's time for David to leave the table, drawing a round of applause from his fellow players.
Flush over, flush on the end. It was incredible. Straight away, just How unlucky was that, man?
It was that was as far as I was supposed to go.
It's been fun. Listen, it's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. It's been tough and grueling, but I like a challenge. You know, I've always aimed for the toughest type of environments, and this is it. You know,
I wanted to win. I came here to win, but you know, to get as far as that, I'm really pleased with myself.
And he should be pleased. He's come so far. A complete beginner this time last year, he narrowly missed out on a stunning victory. And while he'll be feeling it right now, this is not the end of the road.
It is just the start of his journey in poker, even that's the end of his David and Goliath year-long journey. I think he's still going to continue.
He's talking poker. He wasn't talking poker 12 months ago. You have a conversation with him, he's relating stories, he's using the terminology, he's understanding what he's saying, and he wants to engage, he wants to talk about it. So all that is very positive.
And for him to come 40th in a tournament that, you know, David and Goliath was, it's an outstanding performance.
It's good to see that we've created somebody who loves playing the game.
For about 2 or 3 hours, I was in that zone. I felt it. I felt I was in full control over the whole table, and everybody else knew it. Everyone else could feel it, and I could tell whatever anybody did, whether they had the beat of me or not. It's the same feeling I have in a boxing match when I got my opponent sussed, and I'm like, I got you. No matter what you do, you can't hit me. I can drop my hands, you can punch, and I know that's coming there. I know, and I'm just slipping. I'm in the zone. I believe the whole process of Goliath and the whole process of the whole journey to the Philippines, to Las Vegas, the World Series of Poker, the Asian Poker, all of that was for me to be in that zone.
12 months ago, we made a bet with ourselves to take someone who had never played poker before and train them up to beat Goliath. The odds were most definitely not in David's favour, and he wasn't always happy with the hand he was dealt. But eventually, like in boxing, he found his own unique approach, and he did better than anyone could have possibly expected. Not bad, Davy boy. Not bad at all.
For that couple of hours, it made the whole journey worthwhile, because not many people can say they've been in the zone, whether it's football, boxing, poker, whatever it is you do. How many people can say they felt genuinely world class at whatever it is they're doing for even an hour?